So you guys come and you give a talk, and then what does the follow-up process look like? I know you do a meeting. Sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's in groups. What do you do with people? Is there a tool that you use? And then what does that follow-up process look like?
Yeah, so what we do, the typical night is that the campus ministry would say, hey, we have announcements and worship, and then we invite up the traveling team for the rest of the meeting. And so we typically ask for at least 40 minutes of the large group meeting. And the large group meeting is really the front door of our mobilization. And we start, after the MC announces this or whatever, we start with a 25-minute talk, as I mentioned before, just walking them through Genesis 12 to Revelation. And after 25 minutes, what we do is we say, okay, now we're going to transition to part 2. And so if you need to be somewhere, if you got to go to a study hall or whatever, you're free to leave, but we're going to transition to part 2. So just stay where you're at if you don't have to leave, and we're going to get practical. And then in part 2, we show something that's called the World Vision illustration. And what's incredible is so few people leave. So few people leave. And so we just want to connect the student with the practical steps. So yeah, part 1, big picture, meta narrative, the scriptures. Part 2 is just this simple, what we call the World Vision illustration. And then we pair the students with what the campus ministry is doing. So the campus ministry has said, hey, our partnerships are Ethiopia and Kenya. And so we highlight those ministry opportunities. Or, hey, we're trying to get a lot of these students to a summer project in San Diego where they can get training and then continue from there. And so our process is to come in, do a big picture, do a practical, and then really pair those students with what the campus ministry is doing. And so it's a win-win, because for us, we get the audience of the students and really bring some cutting edge missions vision. But also the campus ministry is like, this is great. An outside voice that's telling them everything I've been trying to tell them, but now they hear it differently. I mean, as we all know, there's power in the outside voice. And so that's kind of our way that we developed to mobilize students.
And Todd, is there anything the next day? Do y'all move on to the next campus at that point? Is there any one-on-ones you try to do? Or I know that some mission agencies help sponsor you guys, and you try to do some pairing up possibly with some of the agencies. What else y'all have going on in those arenas?
Well, for some campus ministries, they have incredible opportunities if you want to minister with college students or stay within that college world. Some campus ministries we go to say, hey, we don't have anything. We've just got some local stuff. And so many campus ministries, I mean, well over 90% have said, hey, you know, if I have someone in medical, if I have something in counseling, if we have someone in social work, and they want to do that, that's the skill they've been using. Do you have anything for them? And so we found really fast that we need to develop relationships with organizations that are just tried and true, that we can pair students with if the campus ministry says yes and gives us the green light. Our priority is with that campus ministry. I mean, we're the guests, and so we want to feel what they're doing. But if the campus ministry is like, man, I don't know how to deal with this pre-med student who wants to be a doctor in Addis Ababa, you know, like I've got nothing. And then we're able to come in and say, okay, you know, we've got 22 years of relational equity, and so we can help the student out. And so that's kind of how that works.